Hello everybody, welcome. Yeah, we're having a lovely day today, that's for sure. After that snow that we had, that came and went. Yeah. Getting cold though, so we're having to layer up a bit, you know. Put on a few extra clothes. Put on a t-shirt, on top of a shirt maybe. We've got plenty of these t-shirts available, so go to our website, simonleachpottery.com, and you'll find t-shirts are there. And yeah, so what have I got today? Well, a few things I just made recently, or specifically this larger pot, which it's got now to a stage where I can trim it, because this is going to have a trimmed foot. Oh yeah, I'll just show you this fellow that we did, which we quite liked. I was quite pleased with that. That's a bottle that is just thrown, and then it's actually dipped in a chino glaze, this one, with an iron oxide decoration, and the little dots here are wax. So just thought I'd show you that little number. So I'll put him over, I'll put him down there. So let me just bring the camera in a little bit and we'll talk about what we're going to do here. Okay, so you've made yourself a pot, and maybe it's got a narrow neck on it like this one has. Well, so you come to the point where you want to trim the foot here. Okay, so what we're going to do is basically look at the pot and look at the top side of the pot here, sort of from the top down to the point of the belly. This is what I do anyway. And because I can trim this at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, with my trim tool, which is over here, and I might use the straight edge of a knife, and I might use that if it'll fit. Huh. Yes, it will. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is have a drink of tea. So I'm trying to, although when I made this, the form seemed like it was almost perfect, as it's dried I see that it's not quite as perfect as I thought it was, just in this area here. You probably won't be able to see it, but it's not quite, the form is just, it's kind of contracted in more here for some reason, and it's got a bit of a dip. So what I want to do is try to rectify that. Now I'm only talking about from the top to about there, just this point here in between. Okay, so with something like this, if you take a piece of plastic or a piece of wood, something round, not very big like that, and you can put it on the top there and push down, okay? Now, So I'm casting my eye along the profile of the pot just to see where I need to make a small change. The point of this is to push down, so to keep the pot on the wheel, basically. As I rectify this. Yeah, there it is. You see, it's got a little bit of a furrow there. It's a small detail just on the surface, really, which I'm just trying to get rid of that. What one can do I don't know if I'm going to do it, but what you could do, just there really, is take a very small bit of clay. I'd rather not do this, but and lay it in there like that. Bit of wet there with my thumb, and I'm just going to leave that there for a minute, because what I want to do now is turn it over, put it in a chuck. This is a bisque fired chuck that is simply just exactly that. So you can use them different ways. So you just want to think of what is the best way, whoops, which I think is like that. So we just center up the chuck. I'm going to get some pieces of clay just to put around the base there. To keep it on center, you know. Useful things to have chucked. Add it to your toolkit, but the nice thing is you can make it yourself. and bisque fire it, you know. Alright, so I've just firmed up these pieces of clay around the base of the chuck there, just to hold it in position. Obviously, because I don't want the pot flying off. Okay, so I'm going to locate the pot in there. Now I've got to center it up. It's basically centered down here, but the top, you see, could be, you know, going around like this. So I need to center this up. So I hold a still object like my finger here and don't move it. So you see where it needs to be. Basically what you want is this here level both ways. Alright, so having done that, I'm going to stick this, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply pressure here. Now I could just push down on my finger. It's actually hard enough for me to do that, or I could put something like that there. Sometimes, you know, when you come to trim the base of a pot, depending on how hard it is, and if you've got to apply some downward pressure to keep the thing down as it's going around, you can indent the bottom of the pot, you know, because your finger doesn't have very much surface area, does it? So if you push, it pushes down into the soft bottom of the pot. So if you take a plastic disc of some kind, it doesn't have to be plastic, probably better not to be plastic. Let's get away from plastic. Could be wooden, I suppose. Anyway, and what I do is I just wet my finger and put it in the center of that bit of plastic. That spreads the load across the bottom so the bottom doesn't dip. Useful bit of information. Okay, so as you can see, I've now got it pretty much on center. I'm now going to, with one finger there in the middle on the plastic disc, my other hand here, and don't trim with loose arms. You know, do you know what I mean, loose arms? Your arms are out here, you know, your arms are like flying around, you know, flying. Woo! Don't hold a trim tool and try and trim like that, because you'll be all over the place. Okay, so in other words, tuck in, you know. Tuck in, bunch up, get rigid a little bit. Okay, so with my finger there and tucked in, I'm now pushing down. At the same time I am trimming this. Let's bring the camera in here for a bit of close up. La, la, la. Let's see. Let us see. Okay. Just so now another thing, you know, how do you hold your trim tool? Can you see how I'm holding my trim tool here? It just occurred to me to mention this, because some people hold trim tools, they hold them like they're writing an essay, you know. There's not much strength there, you see. If the tool digs in or something, it will just come out of your hand. So hold your trim tool like you're cutting steak. Okay, and another thing that I do is I bring my index finger often down like that, even to stop any flexing and to give it even more rigidity. So I'm narrowing the foot, removing the clay, I'm going to be scrutinising down here, down the side. Scrutinising the profile, in other words, getting the kind of profile that I want. Well, I hope you're all practicing out there. We've got, I'll mention, we've got a keep practicing workshop here on the November 19th and 20th. So, if you fancy doing some practicing, join us here. It's beautiful here. Beautiful scenery just here. It's a really nice spot. You'll like it. Dee dee dee. Okay, just checking here. Looking for the shape. Some people ask me and they say to me, "Oh Simon, what kind of decoration do you think you're going to be doing on that?" I usually haven't got a clue. Sometimes I do. I'm really more concerned about getting the shape right than how I'm going to decorate it. And very often the decoration will spring out of the form. In other words, the form will inspire the decoration. So until I've got the form finished, I don't always know what the decoration is going to be. I'm told, it wasn't said to me personally, but I'm told that my well-known grandfather Bernard Leach used to say, get the shape right first, get the form right. And there are a lot of very bad forms out there, just in general. So something I try and concentrate on is to try to get the form, get the shape right first. And don't get too hung up on the decoration or on the glaze treatment I'm going to give it and all that. So, just getting my mirror here and sticking it so I can just get a bit of a profile also from that. You know, what are the sort of things I'm thinking about? Well, what is the width of the foot going to be? And I don't think it's going to be any less than that. So I'm going to actually trim a foot, or not really a foot, but I'm going to empty here at the base. Decorative as much as anything. it just finishes somehow the bottom of the pot here at this point. For the kind of pot that I want it to be, I'm thinking of it having it trimmed out here. Yeah. Okay, let's draw back the camera, scrutinize it a bit. So, la, 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 la. Mustn't forget that bit there. Remember we added that little bit of clay, didn't we? Just around here. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the form. Are you happy with it? So I'm going to remove the chuck here. I'm just going to put it back. What I want to do is just that little bit of clay I added, and just la 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 la. Yeah, that's worked well. It's done a good job, that. So there we are. So dee 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 dee. Okay, trimmed out. To be a bit careful sometimes when you trimmed out afterwards that you know how much material you've got left, because if you can push in the seal, if you're not careful, yeah, I can tell I've got limited. I'm okay, but don't want to push too hard, because otherwise the seal can just push right through or really push in badly. And that may, on something that is, say, like an open pot, you don't want to see a seal pushing through, you know, leaving a bump on the inside. On a pot like this, it doesn't really matter, because you're not even going to see down inside, you know. So there it is. That pot was £5 or so. when I threw it. Have a go at a little bit more of a challenging form. Of course, you've got to get the belly it out, haven't you? And then you've got to bring it in, bring it in at the top, and you know you've got to allow enough material to bring in to form the top here. And you've got to keep that shape nice. It's not easy. They're more challenging kind of shapes, and ones like this as well. Perhaps even more bellied. But, as in all things, practice makes perfect. So keep practicing. See you soon. Bye bye.